Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, everybody. Today we're interviewing Richard Schulman, one of Keller Williams Realty top producing real estate agents. He's sold over 850 homes valued at over $400 million. It runs the number 2 Keller Williams team worldwide and consistently ranks in the top 0.1% of all realtors nationwide. As a native of Los Angeles, he's intimately familiar with the different neighborhoods and expertly advises his clients of the right match for them. In addition to the normal buyer and seller side transaction, he advises many of his clients on investment properties. Over 30% of his sales are for properties intended for rental or resale, and he's helped many clients develop a large portfolio of income-producing properties. Welcome, Richard. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the nice introduction.
That was a mouthful. And by the way, before we jump in, actually, tell us a bit more about yourself.
That was a pretty good overview. Like I said, I'm from LA, and I have a real passion for real estate, and it's just sort of been a great match for me being in this business that I can work with people, and I can be flexible in what I'm doing. And the investment side is very important for me because I have a real passion that the average person can buy rental property and really improve their finances. Very simply, so.
Good. And personally, are you a football lover, or what do you love?
Oh yeah, college football.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Well, now I'm a Rams fan. I used to be a Raiders fan, but I think I have to be a Rams fan now.
That's okay. No wrong choices here. Now, what led you into real estate? Is this something you always wanted to do, or is this something you stumbled into?
So I definitely always had an interest in income properties. I definitely always sensed that there was something there for me. In 2003, I was living in the Bay Area. I was a painting contractor, and I had a business partner, and we thought our business would slow that year because the market for jobs there was poorer than the year before. So we were concerned, but actually it turns out that the number of sales or the number of painting jobs we got went way up, and we found out because the real estate market was heating up. And so we very quickly realized that, painting houses was fun, but selling houses would be more fun, and we'd make more money, and we wouldn't come home dirty every day.
That makes sense. Talk about some of the personal attributes you have, or traits or qualities that you think contributed the most to your success, and how do you think those developed along the years?
Sure. So, this is something I think about a lot. Sort of an interesting question because it's basically like, tell us what you're really good at, which I like that. I had this conversation this morning. I said what I do differently than other agents and other people in other fields of business is I just execute better on a really simple set of instructions. So in real estate, like in many businesses, just simply following up professionally with people is a skill that most people don't have. So I told someone this morning for 12 and a half years, I've woken up, I've responded to all of my emails, and I've made my 25 to 50 lead generating phone calls to call prospects, call clients, generate business. That's the simplest thing, is just that sort of dedication and, that habit. The other big thing I think that's good is just, people skills. It's not a business where you have to be a shark salesperson. I think you can be very successful in real estate just being, friendly and nice and listen and try to have intelligent answers for people.
Can you give some specific examples of that? How did that help you?
Well, the first one I remember, several times when people have called me and literally said, I hired you because you kept calling me. And they thought that was a good trait. So that actually gave me one of my best scripts is sometimes people will say, well, why do you keep calling me? And I'll say, I'm an aggressive salesperson. Isn't that what you want in a real estate agent? And they always think, wow, that's a really good answer. That is what I want. You are bothering me. I don't want you to call me a lot. But when I'm ready to hire a broker, I want a broker who's going to call all the time. Not a broker who's going to, forget to call or who's going to do something else. As far as perseverance, just the only thing is really every day I wake up and I make 25 phone calls and I respond to emails and people like that. People aren't used to seeing that. I get almost every presentation I go on, people say, I really appreciate that you called me back right away. Appreciate that you emailed to let me know that you're busy, but you'll get back to me soon.
That's great traits. I agree with you. With them, actually. One thing that I like to ask successful people is that, like a lot of things in life, there's no straight line to success, right? I mean, there's always ups and downs. Can you talk to the adversities or trials that you had to overcome and maybe how you kept going despite these obstacles?
Sure, sure. So, one of the first challenges I really fell into was that I was 23. I didn't really have any, what we'd call sphere of influence clients. All my friends were 23 or so, and none of them had jobs or none of them had good jobs, and certainly none of them wanted to buy properties at 23. And that's a real challenge because a lot of my business still comes from my sphere of influence clients. So, and it actually took me 9 months to make my first sale, and I was probably pretty close to quitting. I don't think that I never really thought about it, but in retrospect, I was probably not going to go on a whole lot longer not selling houses. But, I just sort of never really got down about it. I went through and I just kept going to the office and making phone calls and trying to do showings. And ultimately, someone just called the office, said, "Can you show me this house?" They didn't have an agent. I showed them the house, and they wrote an offer that day, and I had an escrow on a client I had met, within like 5 or 6 hours. So, all that work and just, dumb luck put me into my first escrow. And, I guess you go back to the saying, you make your own luck, that, by making all those phone calls and sitting around waiting for people to walk in the door enough, I was there at the right time. That was definitely the biggest struggle in my business.
Well, you kept going, and that's what made it happen for you, right? You got to keep going, keep focused, and just keep at it. Good story. And I agree with you that sometimes, these things happen out of the blue. You're doing all this work, and all left field comes something that just makes it happen. You say, what the heck? But that's the way life is, right?
Yeah, exactly. But for your listeners, I'm sure it wasn't that just one day I happened to be there. We used to have this thing called floor time, which people don't do anymore, really. But I was doing floor time 3-4 times a week. I was doing it way more than anyone else, and I ended up doing several deals my first year from floor time, because anytime it was available, they would call me and say, "Do you want to come sit here and answer phones for 2 hours?" And I would say, "Absolutely, I'll drive right over."
So you said yourself earlier, you made your own luck.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Now let's look forward a little bit. And where do you see yourself in the next 5 years, and how do you plan to get there in terms of marketing?
Okay. Well, I want to keep growing my real estate team, and I want to keep growing the business and helping people buy and sell homes. The way to get there for me is through people. We slowly grow our marketing budget every year. We have a very healthy marketing spend, and we intend on increasing that proportionally. We succeed through our people. So my main focus is really to find the right people to work on the team. So we're really searching hard to find good people to help our clients and good people to provide support to our agents. So that's for us the number one path of growth. And we have a real commitment to our people that we want to see them succeed. And, we work hard on coaching them on their personal lives and their finances to get them to success in all phases of life.
Well, like they say, all things being equal, people buy from people they like, right? So.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to find people that people like.
Then let's talk about something that's kind of an elephant in the room when you talk about realtors. There's a lot of misconceptions out there about working with a realtor. What do you think the biggest one is?
Well, I guess the biggest one is probably along the lines of people don't think they need a realtor, or they think they can replace the realtor in the transaction with a discounted broker or a family friend. And I'm sure you've heard that before. But we just, we know that we provide a level of representation to our clients that's just far superior to what other agents are doing. And we know that when people say, well, we're going to hire a discount broker instead, we can see that the sales price isn't as high as it should be, or they call us back the next time and say what a horrible experience they had. We're a full-service brokerage. We offer our clients a really high-quality product, and we get paid, fairly for what we do. And people thinking that they can shave money off by cutting corners, sometimes it won't matter, and sometimes everything will work out just right, and sometimes they just dig themselves into a huge hole. And we've seen some clients go the route of discount brokerages, unfortunately, and really get themselves stung on some things.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes total sense. Now, hypothetically, let's say a family member lived on the other side of the country, which you couldn't help, and they were thinking about selling their home. What type of advice would you give them about selling their home?
Well, I think obviously, based on the last question, is hiring the right agent is going to be really important. So the main things that we talk to people about here is presentation. So one of the things that we do is we help our clients, I don't want to say remodel, but we help them freshen their home for sale with painting, upgrading flooring, and landscaping. Presentation is everything. After presentation, I'm personally really big on volume. So we trim back plants a lot. We move out bulky furniture. You're selling space, and if you have furniture or plants or stuff taking up space, you can't sell that space. That space is visually occupied by something else. And then those are the two most important things as far as preparing your home. And then I think that they want to find a broker. It doesn't have to necessarily be the neighborhood expert. It doesn't necessarily have to be the top agent in town. It's got to be someone who's going to give them a balance of personal attention, success in business. So, obviously a brand new agent can give them a lot of personal attention, but it's not good attention. And the top agent in town might not be the right fit because they might be too busy. So some balance in there. It's got to be someone who markets hard and someone who has a level of success that they've proven they can be a representative. We know when we work with other agents, if they're the most motivated party in the transaction, then our clients are going to win. Our clients will get the advantage because we're not motivated agents. We're motivated for results for our clients, so we're not ever going to push our clients into a bad deal, but we see other agents do it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Great advice. And speaking of advice, to wrap up, what one piece of advice would you give our listeners that would like to become a realtor? Don't do it.
All right, we won't do it. I think one of the first things I tell people, except for the thing that I won't say, is I think what people need to understand is real estate is not what they see on TV, even though those are my favorite shows to watch, and it's not what they think it is. It's a flexible job. I took off an hour today to go to parent-teacher conference, but I'm also, working probably 12 hours today. So I think people have a big misconception that they're just going to pick up a few deals here and there really easily and not work that hard and make a lot of money. It's 7 days a week. I've answered my email, every few hours for the last 12 and a half years. There's never a time when you're not on call to your clients. And the minute that you're not, they'll find an agent who is. So they have to understand the time commitment is enormous. The rewards are enormous too, potentially. And then the other thing they have to remember is, especially in high price point markets like here in LA, where, my office has a $1.1 million average sales price, which is a $27,500 commission on average. Those deals don't just fall out of the sky. You've got to work for them, and there's a lot of competition for those deals. So I guess that's two big things.
It is good. I mean, there's no point in putting rosy glasses on. I mean, there's the reality is reality. But
if you work hard and you execute and you commit for a few years to doing the job, then the rewards are there. And people make good money in real estate. People get fairly compensated. I get fairly compensated for being available to my clients 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
That's the price to pay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was awesome. How can our listeners learn more or get in touch with you?
My email is schulmanrd@gmail.com, and my phone number is 310-482-0173.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to sharing these stories with us. This is extremely interesting and inspiring. So I'm just looking for the website. Do you have your website URL?
It's richardschulman.com, and right. Schulman is SCHULMAN.
There you are. All right. Well, thanks again, Richard. I really appreciate this. I'm going to wish you a super summer.
Thank you. You too. Appreciate you having me on.
All right. No problem. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.